Need to be like here.
Hi guys. All right.
Hello.
We're trying to sort out our framing issues. Hunter's like, do I look good in the frame? That's the first thing I think you guys heard. Oh boy. Oh no, wait, I'm not wearing my tiara. How can we possibly start? Good start, everyone. Okay, well the reason why we started this stream a couple minutes early is because our house is haunted and
There's
we're
a demon in this room.
worried about it. Yeah, we don't know what it is, but something is talking. And we can't figure out
a cat.
why. Yeah, like we heard, you know, like when a toy, when like the battery's dying, sometimes it just lets out noise even if you don't like click on it. It sort of sounded like something like that there's a toy somewhere that is like running out of battery.
I thought it sounded like a cat. Like it sounded like a loud meow.
You know what I mean?
Didn't get words. I got meows.
It sounded very like Polly want a cracker parrot type robot, like you know what I mean? Like that sort of thing.
Everyone's favorite robot.
I thought that maybe Arnold was like logged into Genshin or something because I know that the Genshin remote like makes noise, but I looked and I don't think that that's the case. So we're just like fully haunted. That's
also,
why.
it did not come from here. It came from behind us.
Yeah. So we don't know what it is. And I guess
I don't live here, so not my fucking
not
problem.
Your problem. But I heard it twice today, so I'm like, what the fuck? And like, I have toys and stuff, right? But like, I don't
think any of those make sound.
Like, they don't make noise. So yeah. Demon Furbies? Yeah, basically. That's what I'm thinking about, right? Like, it sounded like a Furby. Or like, do you guys remember those dolls that you could feed them and like, then they would poop green and stuff?
I recall the shitting dolls. I recall them well. As a child, I thought I was very confused by that.
Also, I hope that you guys can, like, hear us. Well, we fixed the audio, or at least we think we did, so...
Pretty sure we did.
Yeah, we're pretty sure we fixed it, so.
Maybe it was the demon that fucked up our audio.
That fucked up the audio in the first place, but yeah,
maybe
kind of creepy, kind of weird, not good vibes, in terms of the possession in the house. But yeah, okay, so let's do our, advertisement string while we're waiting, because I did say we would start at 3 o'clock. Okay, hello. The reaction is not on Patreon yet, but it will be eventually. So if you want to see the full-length reaction, it won't be here. It'll be on Patreon. And again, that's the only way. That's the only way. Still, you know what? I'll probably just leave it there because I can't afford to edit this. Like, honestly, like, you know what I mean?
That's fair.
I feel like that there's not enough of an audience for IQ to, like, put effort into editing the reactions to make them, like, YouTube copyright safe or whatever. So they'll probably just stay on Patreon. You know, this isn't RWBY Volume 9. I feel like nobody cares about the full-length reactions anymore, unless you're a patron, of course. But I just mean, like, YouTube algorithm-wise, like, the people that want to see it will go to Patreon, and the people that are okay with not seeing it will be okay with not seeing it.
Are right here with us now.
Are right here, right now. And I know, like, also, you know, not everybody has the money, and I understand that as well, but it's sort of like, I can't edit 10 reactions, I can't do it. If they let us post like normal, I will post them. If they don't let us post like normal, I cannot do it, guys. I'm sorry. I do not have the bandwidth. But otherwise, you know, join the Discord server, all that fun stuff. Funky fresh. We have coffee video commissions going on. Couple people, you know, contacted us for video commissions, so we'll be looking into that, you know, if you want us to read your theory or something, not Mega Shadow Dragon type theory, but whatever, you know, if you want us to react to a whole season of anime, like that one guy did that one time, or like anything like that, you know, Ko-fi
That was such
exists.
a terrible decision.
Those
Why did
full
I not?
reactions are clean. Thank you, Malin. Malin is a patron, so it's good to know somebody is watching that. But yeah, I think that's basically it. All I wanted to talk about was the Patreon, like the reactions on Patreon, or it will be, it's not yet because we just recorded. As always, it will be there later, and the Discord server, because like there are people that like are constantly in the stream, and like the other day I was like, oh, you should join the Discord, and they were like, you have a Discord? And I was like, I talk about it every time, but like still, so we have to say it every time. I was thinking about that today. I was like, some of you guys must be sick of like the reactions on Patreon. Join the Discord server. Video commissions are happening, but like people legit don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like people still don't know. Like even if you say it at the beginning of every video, until they're addressed individually, like they forget, you know? So very important things. I had something else. I changed the colors of the Patreon tiers. I don't know if anybody cares about that. I changed them to match like YouTube Super Chats. Well, everybody says it looks nicer now. Like everybody, I don't know if anybody in the Discord is here
Everyone's
right now.
talking
but like
about it.
No, but legitimately people in the Discord were like, oh my god, colors, everything looks so much better, but like you can thank YouTube for that. I'm sure YouTube did some beta testing and decided like, ooh, red super chat, like red is good. Like, you know what I mean? Red means big money, like YouTube did that beta testing.
Red means big money.
You know what I mean? Like YouTube did that color testing. I made the colors like the colors of the rainbow, right? But YouTube probably tested out
because
like
YouTube, the homophobes they are, decided against that.
No, I mean you can see, Hunter. This is not going to be like as something that you guys are able to see. But see, like you can the colors.
Okay.
So it goes. The super chats go from dark blue to turquoise to more turquoise to yellow to orange to pink and then to red. So I don't know.
Does it go even higher? It
no.
Looks like okay.
You can spend more money, but it won't change color. Like
that looks like a topographical map.
But yeah, like I'm sure.
Like the more money is the deeper red. Like that's
I'm sure
the
that
topography.
YouTube did some sort of testing in terms of which colors make people feel nice, and so yeah, I mean we may as well use them. I don't think that's copyrighted.
I don't think it is.
I don't think they can't come for me. But yeah, I just changed everything. Also, you guys may have seen the Patreon intro at the beginning. That's how we're gonna do things from now on instead of an outro, because nobody watches an outro, but everybody has to watch the intro while we wait for the stream to start. So
of course.
all the Patreon names will now be at the beginning of the intro, and I think that is basically it. We can stop talking about, Discord, Patreon things now and actually get into the episode, I think. Or ghosts. Yes. So, okay. The first half of this episode was good. The second half, I'm gonna point out everything I hate about it, and you guys are just gonna have to deal.
There were some questionable animation decisions,
yeah.
Generally, I
generally,
still like it.
I don't think it's not the worst thing I've ever seen in my life, but like, I'm gonna point them out, you know what I mean? And I'm not doing that to be like, ha, look at that, that's shitty. I'm just saying, like, I have a couple things that are wrong with this episode in my head, and so I'm gonna go through them, like, itemized when we get there. You know what I mean? Because I need to show somebody. I can't be the only person that's noticed this.
But I feel like a lot of it doesn't communicate it well unless you see it in motion.
Oh no, but I will communicate
why you should be our Patreon.
Don't worry, exactly. I mean, yes, but I will communicate it. You will see it. I will make you see it.
I will make you see it.
You see what it is. Okay, so this, I thought that the plan was interesting, actually. I've sort of changed my mind about, like, Blake's, like, outfit a little bit. Changed it. I don't think the booty shorts were all that necessary. But, like, I think that some things definitely make more sense this episode. But yeah, I like the conversation between Blake and Yang. I thought that was really good. I thought that this made sense, and it also made sense for, like, Xion also being manipulative. Maleficent is what I was gonna say. Not manipulative. We don't know if Xion's bad yet. I kind of have the theory that they might be, but, like, that's another story,
I'm very pro Xion.
Right, but Maleficent purposefully puts people to sleep, so now I think they confirmed that Xion's supposed to be both Maleficent and Aurora, and, like, that makes sense. You know what I mean? They can use their powers for good, and
fabulously
then they can,
androgynous.
Intentionally make people go to nap, and that's what Maleficent does.
Oh my god, I would
Sleeping
love
Beauty.
to have them in my life, because I would just be like, please, I really need
Put
to get
me
to
to
bed.
sleep.
Just,
I don't
like,
think
knock
that's
me
how
out.
they do,
Like,
I don't think that's how it works. But anyway. But yeah, and so I think that this conversation was really good between them, and, like, the animation was good here. This was the half of the episode that was good.
I mean, they were just talking. It's not like...
I know, but, like, their facial expressions were really good. I just think that Yang is just so stunning and beautiful, and every single...
cute.
Shot she's in, not to pit two queens against each other, but I think this is the superior version of Yang. Sorry. Y'all just have to deal with it. But I just really like this too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she trusts Yang enough to free her. There was definitely some, like, bumblebee things going on. I thought that was nice, right? Like, the trust that she has in her friends and in Yang and everything. And I don't know, I like them arguing for some reason. Like, I just thought it was interesting. I don't want them to
enjoy it when you bicker.
I don't want to be, like, them to be in conflict, but, like, Yang's voice acting was really good here. Like, she had some lines where it's just, like, she's giving such, like, big sister fed up with this shit. Like, she's the mom friend of the group and she's had enough energy. Like, it was just really, really good, right? Yeah. I'm not sure about the Schnee Dust Company and the White Fang being mirrors of each other. That was kind of a line, kind of like last week, where I was like, that's a little weird, but, like,
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, like, we'll just go for it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I like that, because one is only born from the other.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Not the worst, like, false equivalency they've made.
I'm just like, okay.
Like the line from earlier about the, But it's a little weird.
But I think I what she means. I don't think. I think they meant it symbolically, but I think she also means it literally because
I think
she
they mean
means that
good intentions, bad outcomes.
Sure. I think that what she means, though, is, like, there's a Schnee family here and a White Fang here, and so my White Fang version is also here, and the place's mirror opposite should appear wherever that is with the White Fang.
Oh, that's true.
I guess. And so I think that the way she explained it made sense. In a metaphorical sense, I don't agree with the White Fang being, like, equivalent to
but into the
Schnee Dust Company.
in
the dream world, though, I know what she meant, basically. Yes. And so I really liked this. I liked this conversation. I liked, Blake's plan. I thought that it was really, really good. The hate between them mirrors each other. I mean, I guess, but I don't know. I feel like Adam has a reason to hate the Schnee Dust Company. Not that we're defending Adam on YouTube.com today, but
not that we're big Adam defenders, but there's a reason why the font is disliked.
Yeah.
Like, if the Schnee Dust Company were less terrible. If Adam was never branded,
he would never hate the Schnee Dust Company. So that's like a direct, the consequences of my actions, right? You know what I mean? In a sense, right? I'm talking about, early Adam, not, post-Adam. I mean, what initially led Adam to,
Baby Adam would be
You know what I mean? So I'm that's not a mirror. That's just, people reacting to the bad things that you do. I don't know. You know what I mean? So, yeah, obviously it's not that simple, and life's not that simple either. But, yeah, that's why I don't know about mirrors to each other, because I don't think they're the same. I just don't think it's equivalent. The hate that they have for each other may be equal, but one is born out of a reactionary hate for something that the other, did, if that makes sense. Did in the very first place.
The White Fang wouldn't have to exist if not for the Schnees.
Yeah, and so that's kind of why I don't like the reflections of each other thing. That's the only reason.
It doesn't work in a metaphorical sense, but in, a dream logic sense.
In the dream sense, it makes sense, but, in the metaphor, I don't like it. But yeah, and so I like she trusts, that you guys will, pull me out. And, nightmares don't attack other nightmares, so, this may work.
Until she met me.
Exactly.
This nightmare will kick your ass.
And so I just really like the conversation between them. I thought it was nice. I like Yang being fine, I'll give up. There was a weird thing with Xian here in the subtitles. Because I thought, they were using they, but maybe,
I don't know.
Her. I don't know what happened, but yeah, that's just a mistake. They can fix that. That's fine. Yeah. But yeah, I like this. They have a new strategy. Does that mean the other one doesn't work? You know what I mean? And I was like, damn, that's savage. Who said that? I think that was Nora, maybe, who said that the last one didn't work. Yeah. And I just really like this, too, because, they bring in some Renora. So that's nice, to have Renora in Volume 1. I would do that for you, Ren. And, Ren's but that won't happen. But if it did, I would do it for you, too. It was just cute. It was nice. I liked it. I thought that it was nice. And I think the switch places was interesting. And now I actually understand, because, we made that criticism earlier, right? Of, why can't they all go? Why does it just have to be Jean? When people were on the Jean discourse, but if they're in
those were dark times.
Talked about a limitation that 4 people in a dream's already not hitting, right?
4's company, 5's a crowd. And I mean that was my assumption, but it's nice that they,
talked
get
about
specific
it, right?
with it.
Probably would have been nice for it to go earlier. You know what I mean?
The thing is that people have no patience.
True,
now,
I guess.
That's
people not true now, Hunter. I disagree with that.
No. It's not that people don't have no patience. It's just that it's like watching a movie with my mom. It's just who did it? Who did it? Like a murder mystery. It'll be is that person? Can you tell? It's Mom, if you just watch, it'll be explained to you.
I don't agree with that.
I feel like it's a similar thing.
If you're going to address something that affects something that you're introducing, you should probably bring up that thing first, if that makes sense. There was something in Shadow's house where I was okay, well, why can't she, how do I say this without giving a spoiler? Let me think. Why can't this character give this thing that they make wings and fly away? Right? That was a question I had, because it didn't seem like there was any limitation. We've seen other characters make birds before out of this thing. And so I was okay, they're saying that this is their only avenue for escape, but why can't they make this thing and fly away?
My thing is, I'm not pro
that one day.
I'm not pro plot hole.
Right.
I'm just saying give it some time to explain it to you.
But
because then
you should try to introduce it before the plot hole's created.
But then it just gets bogged down in just explaining thing, and I feel that's not a whole lot of fun.
But I just mean
if I wanted to read the manual to Monopoly, I'd read the manual to Monopoly. I don't want an animated series explained to me.
In the case of Shadow's house, I was But this takes away from the desperation of the character if there are other avenues that they could have gone down, right? It makes you think, well, why couldn't they have just done this? If they explain to you why they can't do this first, even if it was a couple episodes, before, then you can sort of cement the idea of how desperate their escape is. But it can become, like, minimizing or, like, take you at, like, suspension of disbelief if you're like, but they never said they couldn't do that, so why can't they just fly away? And so, yeah, that's gonna be confusing if you don't watch Shadow's House, but that's, like, the most recent example, right? And so, like, I think that maybe people would have been less upset about John if it was like, okay, I can only handle one more of you to go in because of my semblance, right?
It would be funny if there was a scene where, like, Sharon cracks their knuckles and it's just like, all right, everyone in, and then it's every, like, supporting character.
Oh my god.
Like Zwei, Tai Yang, the old man.
What I was thinking, though, it would be interesting if Jean could amplify Xion's aura, but the problem is Jean doesn't know that that's a semblance yet. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, he could.
Yeah.
Dipshit.
To let more people in, but they don't know.
But they don't know yet.
So, it do be like that. What do we say when things go wrong? It do be like that sometimes. Hi, Ozpin. Just wanted to, show Ozpin's
He's looking very stern.
Handsome face here. But yeah, we're not going to go through all this. I just thought the conversation was nice. I like Yang's dialogue here. Again, Yang, beautiful, stunning. I love her sass. Like, everything is great. At this point, everything is
stunning.
Great. Right? And I again, do we have any promising strategies? Like, they explain this, though.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? This makes perfect sense. I guess it happened after the fact that she was already in the Adam outfit, but, like, I'll take it.
Cute little face there for a moment.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's trying to be cute, I don't think they're trying to be cute, though. I think they're, sad. You know what I mean? I think
I don't care.
Like,
That's
God
adorable.
damn it, like, we have no other choice, bro. Also, can we just take a minute that I was like, guys, if Adam's in Weiss's nightmare, Roman has a chance. And then Adam appeared in Blake's nightmare and Roman has no chance. So anyway, I've completely given up on the Roman thing. Like,
you're not allowed to use that as a complaint.
What do you mean?
I don't think
Roman
you are.
wasn't in there?
Yes.
Oh, no.
I don't think you are.
I'm just saying,
but just preemptively.
if you guys are wondering why I didn't bring it up in a while, it's because I've, like, Ruby is pulled out of her nightmare. I think we're done. Like, there was probably an opportunity for, like, Ruby, and this is all the ways she feels like she failed as a huntress, and we have this reality with Roman in jail because she didn't catch him, and, like, Roman's in Ruby's, like, police, prison, palace, whatever, like, huntress,
they find him in the dungeon?
Exactly, he's in the dungeon, right? And so, like, I don't think it's happening anymore.
I just want Neo in this style because I think it'd be hilarious.
Unless they keep Ruby's nightmare until the end of the show. And that's, like, next season of Ice Queendom is Ruby's nightmare. But that's, like, big hopium.
That way, if it was Blake, it's just like they're just gonna have to keep on.
We've reached stage 5 accepted. I know. But, like, maybe, Ruby still has her thing, though. She's still infected. It's still on her hand. John just, like, pushed it back, I guess.
Are we just, like, doing, like, I just find it really funny because, like, Blake wants to give herself a nightmare, and it seems like people with the most baggage have the strongest nightmares. Yeah. And I think the only person with more baggage than Weiss is Blake.
Oh, okay.
In the main cast.
I thought you meant
Neo would be up there.
I thought you meant, like, otherwise. Can you imagine?
I'm just saying, like, that sounds just like, we need someone really traumatized to beat Weiss. And then Blake's like, did you say really traumatized?
Like, sorry for the tangent, but, like, imagine, like, Neo, like, hellscape. Like, what would that even look like? Probably something to do with her parents.
I think you would, like, I would find it, knowing Neo, she's not bothered by it, so Neo would be super pleasant. It would be like Candyland.
Would it really?
And it'd be like, how many people did this bitch just, like, kill? And it's like, Jake shouldn't care about it.
But isn't there supposed to be a bad element for the nightmare? Or is that just...
Man, the nightmare's just like she's never felt bad for anything she's done in her entire life.
Maybe the nightmare is that this is better than her reality, and so she doesn't want to leave. I don't know, reverse psychology.
Well, now, like at this point, Neo, she's happy as a clam.
Right.
Current Neo, she'd have a lot of baggage.
Right. So yeah, I don't know, but maybe that would be, like, if current Neo got infected now, I feel like that she would imagine, like, the perfect life, and then the nightmare would be it getting to leave. Like, you know what I mean? That would be the nightmare. Something like that.
I just think that it's
anyway,
like the baggage makes you more
I mean,
susceptible.
she has baggage. Her parents are baggage. I guess she's over it.
She has baggage, but she left it at the baggage checkout.
Yeah,
she doesn't care.
But if Roman died, there'd be different.
Oh, yeah, now, but like this, like season 1 Neo.
I guess. You guys are right. You guys are right. As always. Anyway, and so let's keep going with the conversation. Coins, just coins. Yang, run the fuck away. Like, again, we're not gonna talk about, like, this stuff too much. We're just gonna, like, keep going. The thing is, though, Yang did look bothered, and then she put on, like, happy fake persona, which I think is interesting. I don't think that they'll ever address that unless we get another season of Ice Queendom, which at this point, guys, you know... I think that is not,
but like I'm not saying like I don't think it's gonna be a failure if we don't get another season because this feels like a one-off.
But
thing,
I'm just saying, like,
you know,
I don't know, like, why include something like that? You know, if they're not gonna explore it later down the line, just for flavor.
I would be genuinely surprised if they did like a stinger thing at the end where it was like oh, maybe next time.
I don't know because. Like, Yang has baggage, too. Like, her mom left her other mom died. Like, I don't know if that's, like, foreshadowing or anything, but you could.
I love how we're just doing baggage.
But you could, right? And so, I don't know. Like, I'm just saying, right? And so, I wonder if that'll be, like, a thing later. But
Xion just looks at Ozpin. It's just, like, after they strapped 50 people in there, and then Emerald, and, like, everyone's causing panic. It's like, does everyone have depression here? You should hand out Prozac with admittance.
I think the only person who probably doesn't have depression is, like, Coco, I guess?
Kira?
No, Kira has depression. Nobody wants to get close to her because they're all afraid of her.
That's fair. But but it's less, like, catastrophic than other people. Right.
But, like, I don't know. That's a good question,
Coco's too much of a jock to have.
Who is the happiest person at Beacon?
Zwei?
No, the people, guys. A person.
Zwei is a person.
No, he's not. He's a dog.
Zwei is dogs can be people. You.
What?
Prejudice. Dogs are people. Like how Chewbacca's not a human.
Yeah,
he's a person.
That's different.
I think Zwei is a people.
Neptune?
Can we put like one of those like?
I don't agree with Neptune.
Can we put a survey in the chat of whether or not Zwei is a person?
No, they're obviously gonna vote for you because they like you more.
No,
because fair.
No, because
Zwei's not a person. He's a dog.
No. I want everyone here to be 100% honest with themselves, regardless of who you think is funnier. Do you think Zwei is a person? Do you think Zwei deserves personhood? I think he does. I think there's a lot going on back there. I think he's a very hyper-intelligent doggy.
Okay, well, fine. I put the poll in the chat. You guys can deal with this.
Anyways.
Probably a random background character out of the main cast, guys. Please, I'm begging you. Out of the main cast. I don't even know if Sun's happy, though, to be honest. Like, you know what I mean?
I think Sun's kind of like Neo, where there was a lot bad happen, but he's just, like, rolled with it.
Honestly, the happiest character in the main cast, I think, is Torchwick. I feel like Torchwick has no fucks about anything. Right? Like, he lost his mom, but in Roman Holiday, it seems like that he's kind of just whatever. Like, he doesn't even remember her anyway. So, I don't know. Like, I feel like Roman may be the happiest RWBY character, because everything's going well for him up until the end. You know, other than Neo, right?
That's fair.
Or Penny. She doesn't know what unhappiness is yet. You know.
Penny, yeah, well, I mean, I think
Penny doesn't know to be unhappy yet.
Because she understands that, like, she's disappointed Ironwood, so she knows sadness. You know, she's not frolicking in the Garden of Eden.
In the early volumes.
Yeah, volume 1, yeah, because
she disappoints him that one time, but, like, you know, I think in general she's pretty okay.
The soul-crushing disappointment of
Pyrrha looks beautiful, you know? We love to see it. But yeah. An excuse to bring up Roman, damn, you guys are so
That just looked like their lunch, like
the jar.
Yeah, that jar thing that Xion pulls out.
Penny isn't a person. You guys have to stop this.
Get the fuck out of here with that. I will not have this. I will not have this hate speech permeate.
This is what Detroit become human. Detroit become human walked so Penny could run, okay?
First off, Penny came out first.
I know, I'm
And that
I'm
game is like
joking.
terrible, isn't it?
Oh dear. Yeah, I guess Penny's sad sometimes, but I'm just saying, like, Penny doesn't have like taxes or anything. Like, you know
I
what
don't
mean?
think
Like,
Zwei didn't have taxes either. Zwei is still a person.
no, but I'm saying happiness, happiness. Not that
Okay.
doesn't make her a person. I'm
I don't know,
saying that
taxes.
her happiness. Like, Penny doesn't have to worry about money or like being an orphan or taxes or anything. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying. You know what I mean?
She's
like,
a military creation.
Like Ren and Nora have to worry about money.
Her existence
right?
was
Because
funded
they have
with
no
taxation.
Parents. Maybe. Yeah, exactly. She doesn't even need to worry. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Honestly,
Penny
I feel
is
like
a real girl. I didn't mean that paying taxes makes you a real person. I meant that she doesn't have like adult responsibilities yet.
that would be dark, because then it was like, then it would be like, oh, if you didn't pay your taxes, you lost your like humanity.
Oh
so
my
you could
God.
be like, we started executing tax cheats.
No. Okay.
Okay, so it looks like most people disagree with me. That's
yeah,
why it's not a
I think we're
person.
pretty good to just
We're gonna
end
close that.
We're gonna close the poll.
You all did. It was
Sorry.
close. But
Hunter, I think the difference is like something like Chewbacca has like sentience.
I think
If that
Zwei
makes
has. I think
I don't
Zwei
think
is
Zwei
sapient.
has sentience.
I
He
think
just
Zwei
acts
is
like an
sapient.
actual like Scooby-Doo. Scooby is a person. Okay, because Scooby can talk and has like sentience, okay? But Zwei can't talk and doesn't seem to have any sentience. Why are you laughing? I'm serious. Scooby-Doo, fine. I can allow Scooby-Doo being a person, but not like Zwei has no like opinions
I
on
want
things.
to create a tier list
Like, I don't know how
of
to explain
fictional
it.
dogs or fictional animals and whether or not they deserve like the rights of humans.
Like, obviously you don't need to talk to be a person. That's not a requirement, but I'm just saying, like, Zwei has no opinions on things. I don't know. He has no, like, Descartes, like, I think, therefore I am.
I
like,
think
you know
he thinks
what I
a
mean?
lot.
I
I
don't
think
know.
he thinks a lot.
I don't know.
I think he's a detective. In fact, I think he
Oh my
finds the
God.
White Fang in Volume 2. I think he's smarter than all of Team RWBY. I think
That may be true.
I
but
think-
not... Oh boy. I mean, I guess, yes, animals have sentience. I meant, like, how do you explain it? Consciousness. You're conscious of that you're a person. Like, you know how you think about your legs and you have legs? Like, you know what I mean? And suddenly you're aware of your legs. That's what I mean. Like, you know what I mean? Exactly.
Do you ever just think
It's not
about how you
talking,
have legs?
Because you don't need to
And then
talk
you
to be
look
a
down and,
person.
"Oh, I
I'm
have
just saying
legs."
consciousness. Like, you're conscious, you can look in the mirror and you know that it's you, I guess. And that maybe that gives you an existential crisis to know that it's you, right? I don't know. Anyway.
We're gonna do a video. And
I'll
it's gonna
commission
be a,
Hunter's video
and
idea.
it's gonna
Molly,
be
don't
a tier
allow it.
list. And it's gonna be a bunch of fictional non-human
Right.
characters and which
Oh my
one of them
God.
deserves
This
human
is so
rights.
bad.
Right?
That could be a Twitch stream, too. We could do it live. The chat can vote. They can tell us if they agree.
Oh man.
Anyway, Adam.
I'm doing that when I go
I
home.
thought this was good. I
Yeah.
liked seeing Adam in the nightmare. I think that his like, oh, you think you have
I like that
friends
he looks
thing.
like a Force ghost.
It was very like Xehanort, like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
oh.
Like, huh?
What is it?
Like Kingdom Hearts, like it was
Okay.
very like, oh, you think that your friends are so special,
Okay,
you know?
yeah, I
or like
know.
Maleficent does that
Oh,
with Riku.
you have friends,
You know
and
what
then
I mean?
Sora's gonna say something like, "Friends are my
Yes,
power."
exactly. You know,
And
yeah.
then they'd
It
have a
just has
big anime punch up.
villain energy,
30
right?
million units sold.
Like, you know, Maleficent says something to Riku like, oh, well, your friends have replaced you now. Isn't that fucked up, right? So I think it's...
Sucks to be you.
Sucks to be you. So I think it's kind of the same. So I think that this is interesting. I like this for Blake. I like the scene. I think Adam throwing that in her face. I mean, Adam's in her imagination, but I think that that's interesting to throw it back in her face that, like,
So
she
are
was
all of my
hiding
exes.
being a faunus. Like, oh, well, if you thought that your friends were such good friends, why you hide being faunus, you know?
Like, what are my friends then?
Exactly, right? And
I
so,
feel like I'd be better at outlogicking.
like, now
Adam.
she knows that her
Looks
friends
back.
will accept her. I like a good power of friendship, okay?
Yeah.
I thought this was nice. I thought it was cool to see Adam again. I don't really have complaints about this, I guess. I don't know.
I made
thought
a
this was
comment
good.
of someone with a thing for tentacle and or vine-like long extrusions, and also had a thing for Adam Taurus was probably just like having
that
the
one
greatest
person,
time of their
if
life.
such a person even
Whoever
exists.
that person is.
But yeah, we see how the nightmare now changes now, like based off of
Changes
Blake's
the outside of the house.
Perception. Like this isn't Weiss's nightmare anymore; it's part of Blake's nightmare.
It's like so. There's two like just as they described. There's two competing nightmares.
Yeah.
I also love how like
this is the second time.
Yang ran out of that building like it was just on fire, and it ended up being on fire.
This is like what is this? If I had a nickel for every time Blake burned her house down, I'd have 2 nickels, but it's weird it happened twice. Like, you know that meme?
I had 10 cents, but which isn't much, but it's
Which
weird it happened
design is
twice.
your favorite? Probably Weiss.
Weiss is still my favorite, but I really do like Nightmare.
The thing with Nightmare RWBY is that we don't actually know, like, what her nightmare was, but I can see her being in her pajamas, kind of like Jean, right? Because I think RWBY's thing would be that... Weak. Yeah, like, I feel like RWBY's thing would be that she doesn't think that she's fit to be a huntress. And so maybe it would be badass, like, huntress gear to make up for that. Maybe she'd look more like her mom because she thinks her mom was the best huntress. And, like, she feels like she's not doing a good job being a huntress. I feel like for Yang, probably, like, they'd go, like, Bandit Raven-esque with it. You know, something like that. Cool. I don't know. But yeah, and so I think the railroad thing was interesting. This was giving, like... You know, volume 8 vibes. I don't know. Like, there's no way this can be related, right? Like, there's no way. It's just a coincidence, right?
Yeah, it's also a magic railroad.
Yeah.
What's evil Snowpiercer?
Yes. Oh God. I think regular Snowpiercer is evil Snowpiercer. Actually, considering
the real evil was capitalism.
Oh God, the real evil was Wilford, who's the guy in the show. It's
the
Wilford,
real evil is climate change.
Yeah, this is cool. This was a nice shot of Blake. I thought it was cool.
Yes, there was this gorgeous like piece of animation. Did we show it?
Yeah, I showed a little bit of it.
I love it so much. Yeah, I love when they get a little weird with the animation.
Yeah,
styles.
I thought it was cool. I like her hair floating. I thought that was great. And so yeah, now that we have the explanation,
she looks like she's gone evil.
It's not just Blake dressing in Adam's clothes, but this is Nightmare Blake. Version. But yeah, okay, so
that also looks like a bread knife to cut really big loaves of bread.
So, guys, this is when it starts, okay? So Yang running, again, it's hard to tell, but that was a little bit like
I don't think
janky.
It's weird.
It was a little
I don't recall
it was a little weird, but like
it gets weird
there's
later
another
on.
part where it's weirder, but this is where it starts. Like if I had to pinpoint at least one place where there was problems with this episode, that's where it would start. But we have nice little bumblebee, like, you know, like the vines don't want to
You're gonna get swallowed by the vine monster, but then they love each other.
Yeah, and it, like,
the power of love stops you from being eaten by...
Is Jean's cloak here, though? Is
Maurice
that why it goes by her? Oh, wait. Did it give her the cloak, or is it just because Yang happened upon the cloak?
I don't know. It gave her the cloak.
Did it?
It gave her the vines gave her the cloak.
I prefer the vines giving her the cloak.
Yeah, right there.
Instead of her just
and it's implying that woods, because it was Jean's, it gives her some kind of protection.
Yeah.
Because it has his good immune Jean juice on it.
Yeah, so I like the idea. Oh, here was the weird running. I think it was over here, actually. It was somewhere in this area. I don't know. Maybe it was later.
There was a scene later, and it was 3D Weiss, and she jumps up and then vertically.
This is definitely the start of the jank. Like if I had,
separate post and pre-jank, it would be this.
You know, in Pandemic, when you start the pandemic in a very particular spot, like the phone game, right? You know,
I was about to ask if you're the reason why I haven't been outside.
The phone game,
years.
right? Okay.
Yes.
So I'm just saying, if I had to pinpoint the start of the jank, okay, like the start of the virus, like where it came from, this is around the area that I would pinpoint. I mean, I don't think that they jumped the shark per se, because I do think that the bikini shorts were still not necessary. I think the Adam thing, I don't know. I never had a problem with her dressing like Adam per se.
It wasn't that. It was just like, I just thought it didn't look good because she had her underwear out, which I just thought looked like it was an incomplete outfit.
I think the incomplete outfit thing still stands.
Bothered me more.
I think the Adam thing.
But you don't notice it as much because she looks a little weird because she's her face is a little long there.
Yeah, so this is that was
I think the nightmare's starting to get to me, man.
Oh boy, but yeah, I don't think that
it starts getting janky from here, from that buffer point.
Not the bikini thing, the Adam discourse. Yeah, I don't know. People can still be uncomfortable with that if they are.
But I also feel like in the actual fight scene,
I think
it
bikini
didn't look
shorts
like
add character. No,
I didn't. I don't think it like it made the actual like character like concept art look bad, but in the actual animation, it just kind of looked like she had like a skirt thing, and I thought that looked really good.
Superman also has his underwear out. He should put it away.
But he also, it's on the outside of like his full body leotard.
I don't know Superman. So anyway, okay, so like
Kal-El is famous for his pussy out looks.
What was that? I think our microphone just peaked for some reason. Anyway, so yeah, this was the start of the weirdness because it's 3D, which is fine. 3D is not inherently, like, you know, bad. But, like, this is where some stuff started, like, happening a little bit. But yeah, I think that I don't mind that she looks like Adam now. It's just the shorts. It's just the bikini shorts.
I tolerate
like, you know what I mean? I can tolerate this part because Adam is her nightmare. Becoming like Adam... You know, becoming a person like Adam is what scares her, I think. Or losing hope to the point where she thinks Adam's ideology is right. Like, not being able to prove that she, you know, that the world can be different. And that maybe Adam was right all along. That, I do think that that's what this is about. Okay, guys.
Okay, this is...
So let's start.
This
so
is
they had
the
a really nice little, like, fighting. And then... I don't know where Blake went, by the way, because Blake's right next to her.
Well, it probably you just cut out a scene.
No, but I'm saying, like, okay, so Weiss is standing alone after Blake was next to her. So this is where, if you don't want RWBY criticism, you can...
cut out context. I'm sure they just pushed each other away because she was bouncing to and fro.
Maybe they did, but I screenshotted everything I could. But still.
No, but like, what you'd also don't see it as well. Move forward, because the janky thing was not this scene.
No, but I'm saying that now I'm realizing that nobody else is around her anymore. So I don't know what angle this is because nothing's behind her. You know what I mean?
That is weird. It is
so
like
I'm
in
just
a blank
saying,
void.
Like, she's just in a void.
But that was the one that looked weird.
Weiss catapulting was weird.
And watching it in movement was even worse. It was like...
you had to be there.
It was very VeggieTales.
Like, you had to see it. I can't show you guys because we're, you know,
it was
whatever.
very
Copyright.
VeggieTales.
But, like, if you watched the episode, you saw it. Oh yeah, the chess game is fine. I like the idea of the chess game. I'm saying that, like, Weiss teleported, basically, away from everybody and everything.
I think you have just forgotten that.
Because there's nothing behind her, and there's nobody at the sides either, so I don't know where the fuck she went. Like, so, yeah, but it was really... The catapult was weird.
That was the most jarring thing.
Have you guys seen that video? And I think it's fake. But there's a video of Spider-Man. They test out Spider-Man at Disney, and they're testing out the swinging thing. And instead of the swing, he hits the wall and falls over. I think it's fake. I think it's just CGI because, like, I doubt Disney would, like, allow that to happen.
Oh, your precious Disney could never allow that to happen.
I don't think that it was real. I think it was just a joke. But there's this ride or like attraction at Disney World in one of the parks, right? And it's a superhero thing and it has actors, right? And there's this point where a Spider-Man dummy is supposed to swing from one building to another and he's supposed to disappear on the other side. But there's this video where he just goes smack, right? And like you can tell that it's a dummy all of a sudden. I think that that's how this looked. It did not look real. I'm sorry. It looked bad. Okay, so yeah. I like this, though. I like this little dialogue with the... I don't know what the fuck this was. I think it's funny. Forehead, though. I mean, am I one to talk? But, like, you know what I mean? This shot of her face was a little weird. And, like, her neck and stuff.
I do like how they get... First off, like, yeah, right, so in that moment... Yeah, so that doesn't look bad at all. You know? It honestly looks like she's wearing shorts.
But... Okay.
Like, I think the outfit looks really good.
Strike 2 against this episode. I wish Critter was here. I would love to talk about this with her. If Critter sees this, or like,
yeah, the animation got janky.
I would just love to, like, you know, like make a cup of coffee and talk about this with her for another hour on her podcast, even though I have no time and I'm going back to school next week. You know what I love? When animators, well, not animators, sorry, that was a bad phrasing. Let me rephrase. When anime decide that they don't want to do the fight scene, so they just cut away from the fight scene and show the building. Okay, because like they cut away from the best part. You know what I mean? I swear there was probably supposed to be a fight there, but there was no time, so they just maneuvered for the buildings for a shot. But they cut out the best part, and I get it because like budgets exist, things happen, management happens. Like, you know what I mean? Shit goes down, but like I don't know, man. Like this is like the climax. Like Blake and Weiss are fighting. Make them fucking fight! I don't know! Even if you need to do what did Evangelion do? It was just like markers or something.
They did markers. At one point, they just had 3 minutes of no animation.
Yeah,
just a still
I would have
image.
preferred that. Just give me the goddamn storyboards.
I don't know.
Okay?
I've also watched the old Berserk anime, and like there were a lot of still images that were just repeated.
You know what? I wouldn't.
Like,
If they
I've seen worse.
storyboarded this, just give me the storyboards, guys. You know, I
But at
want to
least
see
they
the
try
fight.
to keep it interesting and like
No,
show the
no,
action.
they don't.
No, I mean in Berserk.
Right.
Like they try to like it's a still image, but they try to show the action. With
Yeah,
this,
and
they
then
just
we
didn't
get,
show
you
the
know,
action.
they cut it away again. They're cutting
And they're in the
all
chest
the
place.
interesting parts, bro.
Now that you pointed it out, they really are just fighting in a void.
Yeah, I think they are running out of time because I heard, I don't know if this is true, but I heard that they only had 4 episodes done of pre-production before the show started airing. And that's a little sus. Because they released 3 at the same time, even though they waited to release 4. But you know what I mean? So I feel like
Part of me feels like they think they can get away with it because it's a dream, so you could just like use dream logic that
But
like,
what do you mean dream logic that they
the
cut away
world-
from the fight that's a camera angle?
No, I mean right now with the
I
background,
don't
how
care
it becomes
about
so
that.
sparse.
I don't care about the dream background. I care about the fight scene. I want to see the fucking fight.
I was thrown off by that.
I would have preferred if they just inserted like storyboards of this
But it
fight,
also gets worse. I would argue later.
It definitely gets worse. And like, okay, so here's the thing. Some people are blaming COVID for this. I'm gonna think about how to phrase this carefully.
Okay, we should also specify that we have no history or insider knowledge of the animation.
Idea, right?
We're
But
coming from a place of extreme ignorance.
I've seen other anime that were made during COVID, and they don't look like this. So even though COVID may exacerbate certain problems, oh god, if we're both saying it wrong,
I think we are both. I think I said it right the first time.
May heighten certain issues, or emphasize certain issues in production. Lots of anime were made during COVID and don't look like this. So to me, anyway, I don't think that this is a matter of budget per se, but it's a matter of time. You know, that they ran out of time, and budget can't really fix that. Yeah. Because you only have so many people working on a team. You can't get them to work, 24 hours, 24/7, like all these days in a row to fix it. Right? They probably threw more money at this trying to hire like temp staff to try to fix it. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just saying in theory, right? So I don't think it's a budget issue, even though we're joking that the budget flew away. I think it's like a management thing where they were like, yeah, this amount of time, that's tons of time. We'll get there. And then they didn't, but they didn't want to delay the episode, right? But did those shows get delayed? No. Go watch Shadow's House. Anyway. But yeah, I'm just saying that there were lots of shows that aired during COVID and were not delayed and did not look like
But also, they aired during COVID did not mean a lot of the production.
But I mean like late COVID, if that means, like if that makes sense. Like now. Like I'm watching literally now. Like, you know what I mean? That are a result of COVID time, I'm assuming. Unless they waited to release it, right? But yeah, I mean, I still think that it's probably playing a part. But I think that, like, if you have a good manager, that can solve a lot of issues. If you have a bad manager, that can only make things worse. You know what I mean? Yes. So it's not that it's still not a problem, but I just don't think that that's, like, I don't know, like, a lot of RWBY fans will probably be like, well, it was made during COVID, so you can't criticize it was made during COVID, right? Which I'm already seeing, like, on the internet and stuff. I don't think that that's the case, because other things have, like, made it to the finish line, even during, like, COVID production. So even though I think it's a factor, I think that, like, COVID only makes bad managers worse, And so I think that this is kind of a management issue, and, like, that they didn't want to have any delays. And they wanted to, like, keep the ball rolling even at the, at the expense of, like, an actual competent fight scene,
But it's honestly, I would almost prefer, the cutting away is weird, but when you see the stuff they put on, like, there's a scene later with Blake on her, or not Blake, with Yang on her bike that's just confusing. Because at least
I think it happened earlier.
No, it happens later.
Oh, does it?
Because at least, it happens about now. Because at least, pause here, because at least with, like, the scene or the shot of the city looks decent.
Yeah.
What's about to happen makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, and so, like, that's the thing, right? COVID is definitely still a problem. I don't know if you guys are. I'm still wearing a mask at school. We all are, I think. Like, a lot of places have been like, yeah, COVID's over, guys. Don't wear your mask, like, at the hairdresser or, like, you know, at all these other places. But, like, yeah, COVID is still existing and real. But I just think that, like, it's probably a management issue. First and foremost. And, like, also, this stuff used to happen before COVID as well. And so, you know, even though COVID may have made it worse, it was always a problem.
During COVID. What do you mean?
No, like other anime.
Shows.
Like, I'm saying that, like, this sort of situation where they just think that the animators can, like, pull time out of their ass, like, even though, like, you're only a human being, you only have so much time. Like, that's happened before.
And how much
for sure.
Ass
like, you know what I mean?
With which to pull from.
Yeah, and so that's sort of what I mean. Like, it definitely happened before COVID, too, where people just did not, like, I don't know, like, these managers don't know how much time it'll take to make something, or they want to save money, so they're like, we'll do it in less time, but then less time backfires if, like, shit goes down. You know what I mean? And you can't, like, recover from it. And so, yeah, I'm just worried. Here's what I'm thinking. I just hope that this doesn't give, like, a bad reputation to, like, future projects or anything, but, like...
I think we just found a new cursed genre.
I know. This is cursed genre screens, right? I mean, I'll allow this. He's scared, you know, I can deal.
Something that occurred here was when it cut from the earlier scenes to RWBY, all the music went away.
Yeah.
So there's no music in that whole
that was weird
period.
Too. So, like, I don't know how to explain it, but there was a point where there was music and it was going really hard.
And then when it cuts to RWBY, the music just stopped.
Yeah, and Hunter was like, "That's okay." Like, they wanted a quiet moment.
It didn't feel that abrupt to me because it felt like they were cutting away from it.
But I will say, okay, as somebody who's in musicianship level 3, all right, out of I don't know, out of 4 or whatever our school has, okay? Like, I'm just gonna say that it's fine to do a cutaway, but unless you meant it to be jarring, you need to have a resolution chord, if that makes sense. That's not the terminology, but basically, like, when you're making a song, I'm gonna explain this very simply. You make it in a key, right?
Sure.
And, like, in that key, there are notes that are, like, good. Like, there are notes that you play and they sound nice together, I guess. And sometimes there are notes that you play and they don't sound nice together. And usually, if you want to resolve something, you want to end it on that on that chord where everything sounds nice and complete. And, like, it's kind of hard to explain, but basically there are different types of chords and stuff. There's, like, augmented and, like, diminished and, like, minor and major and stuff. So, like, if you want to resolve something, I can't remember the word for it now. Sirs and Madams would probably know more about this. I'm, like, trying to explain a bunch of music theory in, like, 5 minutes.
Was it Tectonic?
It's kind of like that, but basically, like, there are certain things where if you play them, they just sound more complete or they sound like it's ready to open up, right? We talk about this in class, but, like, what does this sound like? This sounds like it's the end. This sounds like they're about to go on a journey and the world is just about to open. Like, there's different names for it, like the chords that tend to do those things, but basically there are chords that are resolved and there are chords that sound like you're about to, like, you know, build up and, like, go out in the world and stuff. So the problem with the IQ music is that it stops in a place, at least to my ear, that I don't know, like, I just don't think that it was resolved. It didn't sound resolved. It sounded, like, incomplete. Like, to me, anyway, I don't think it ended. It just sounded like, you know, if Hunter and I were editing a video and we made a mistake. Like, that's what it sounded like. It didn't sound like it was intentional. It just stopped, I guess, and it didn't stop on, like, a resolution.
I guess it didn't seem that abrupt to me, but I also may not have the same ear to this thing.
I mean, that just, it kind of bothers me. You probably didn't end, don't end on a tritone. Yeah, so something, you know, music, something like that, right? And so I wish I had my little booklet so I could tell you guys what things are. But I swear,
I must consult my notes.
You know, like, we look at, like, stuff from The Little Mermaid and, like, does this sound like finished and does this sound finished and, like, whatever. And so, you know, you can kind of look at those things. Like, a lot of Disney songs will have a, like a certain, like, fade out almost, like, do-do-do-do, like, you know what I mean? Or, like, a button. Like, a lot of musical theater songs end on a button. The button is the end, right? Rock songs are different, but, like in theory, it did not, like it was not hitting. Do you want to talk about Motorcycle Yang now, Hunter? I feel like that's where we're...
So we get Motorcycle Yang, and like she looks cute, right?
Right.
And then she dodges his arms, and it's all okay. But at a certain point, they cut to, it might be here, it might be briefly after here.
I don't know, let's see.
Keep it up.
Well,
dude, at one
first
point,
of all, I know smear frames exist, guys, but I'm just saying.
If you don't notice it in movement, I don't think it should, like,
it's so
count.
funny. I know. But yeah, so what are we looking for, Hunter?
There's a point in which it's just, instead of showing, like,
We're gonna get copyrighted. Hold on, let's go find it first.
Instead of showing, like, Yang drive, it just, like, super zooms up to her wheel.
Oh, is this?
No, not that.
I think it's around here, though. I think
here.
it's around here, so let's keep looking. We'll find it. Oh, this?
Yes, there it is.
Yeah.
It's just on her wheel for some, and then it hits his fist.
Yeah.
And then you never see the resolution.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, did they just... Are they
happened,
like battling wheels? But
also,
no, she's
where
back
did
here.
RWBY go? Because wasn't RWBY on the back of the bike?
She might have jumped off.
Maybe she jumped, but
I think
we
she
didn't.
jumped. No, there she is. Okay.
So she got off,
yes.
but we didn't see that. She got off.
Well,
off
it did
screen.
feel a little weird, but that
Yeah.
it was the fact that, and it doesn't do justice, but it felt like a good 3 or 4 seconds you couldn't see anything because it was just her wheel.
Obviously, guys, we're screenshotting, but we expect you to have watched the episode already, so you
presumably
understand.
you want to zoom out a bit so you can see all of Yang, and they do that later, and it's all well. And I think that there's minimal jankiness after that.
Speaking of jankiness, doors. The doors were weird. It may just be because they're 3D. But
I also feel
weird.
like when we pause it, you're able to nitpick more aggressively.
Oh, but I noticed this all in movement,
Okay.
though. You guys have to understand during my reaction.
Because you never noticed those little smear frames for the fact their faces look a little weird.
I mean, yeah. I mean, smear frames exist,
fine,
right?
yeah.
That's fine. Smear frames are a thing, but there's some faces that weren't meant to be smear frames in there. You know what I mean? Like Blake's face. And Yang's long head and all of those things. Those aren't smear frames.
But I also feel like that's in a distance. And that's just what animation looks like from a distance.
Not that I like that she shot Whitley, but I thought that was an interesting scene because she's like, oh, is that what it was for?
Just doesn't give a fuck at all. It just shoots him. And the fact that you see a hole through his wing is
That's
disturbing.
pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty fucked. But yeah, I thought that was interesting, at least. The fact that it was for Whitley, almost. That the most dangerous person's gonna be, lurking, behind you and whatever. And so, yeah. Again...
I like that you can't say no to the baby Weisses.
Yeah, the baby Weisses were cute.
I like that baby Weisses all gang up and stab this man to death, the ending of BioShock, if you know, you know.
I think Jean falling was a little weird for some reason. At least, I don't know, it was kind of weird. But I think it's okay. You know what I mean? It's not the worst thing that happened this episode. But I was like, oh, Jean fell like that? Why? You know what I mean? He didn't fall where you put your hands out in front of you, if that makes sense.
That would imply if he was good at this.
Right. But I'm just saying, most of the time when people fall, they have an instinct to put their hands out to break their fall, but this man just let himself fall on the floor.
Jean's just that bad.
Did Whitley turn to human size? No, his feet were just big in the frame. So he's fine, he's okay. But yeah, I love how, Sword Ex Machina is just, big chillin' over there. But yeah, again, some of the motorcycle stuff,
This was okay.
It was alright.
This was fine. It was only that earlier scene that was, confusing and weird.
I like her going sideways. No, Whitley did not turn human. His feet were just big, his claws were just,
got
in
big
the
grippers.
I think he's fine. I think he's the same as he was before. He just, turned big because of the perspective. He got closer to, the invisible camera. I guess he looked bigger in that screenshot. Yeah, I think it's because he was flying, toward RWBY as he fell down. You know what I mean? Toward the camera as he fell. But yeah, so again...
I agree that I feel like Blake did not look great in the concept art. I'll restate this, but in action, she looks really great right now.
Yeah.
This Nightmare version.
Well, see, here's the other thing that bothered me, okay? They don't want to animate... I shouldn't say they don't want to animate, because that makes it sound like I'm putting it on the animators when I'm not. The manager did not want them to have time to animate the swords.
Yeah, they didn't do their upper body or their whole body. They just did their shifting feet.
Which I think was
and I understand, but I feel like that's not totally fair. I feel like because you want diversity in shots.
Right, of course. But there was a lot of feet. There was a lot. Hold on. So let's...
Some people are into that, Cal.
No. Let's look at this. So fighting fine. Like, you know what? This is good. Like, this part I actually liked because they were actually, like, fighting with each other. But there was a lot of leg
Well,
here.
that's okay because it shows that she's on the edge.
I
that
know,
she's on her
that
back
one was
foot.
okay, but the other one was weird. There's another
And
one
the
of
swaying
Blake's
foot,
feet, which was
and
kind
like
of
it doesn't get like weirdly too focused on our butt this time, which is
there was
nice.
more feet. I don't know if I captured. I think it's after this. There may be
But
more.
no, I
Hold on.
disagree with that because you do want diversity.
Right.
in
But
your
there was
shot.
a lot of feet versus action, is what I'm saying. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. But yeah, Shion's just saying
More feet than action,
you know,
out
the
of context.
thing is
That's
getting
really
stronger,
suspicious.
and you know all of that stuff. And so we don't need to talk about all this. I think that we're pretty much good on this. Yes.
Because we're all just like,
This is
are
all
we
about
gonna like?
Weiss, you know?
Are we doomed?
Are we doomed? Yes. Okay. Okay. Well, I'll look for Blake's feet later. But there were just
I'll look for Blake's feet later.
But
Said the
I know
most
what
intolerable
you mean. You
fan
want to show
artist.
that she's on the edge, right?
Yeah.
I get it. But like, there were a lot more feet than sword fight, and that's what I didn't like. But I think
don't
it's after. It may be after this. But there wasn't anything after this, was there? Maybe
No.
I didn't capture them. But
No.
they cut to Blake's feet a couple times, and I
I
was
feel
like,
like your anger might be clouding your memory.
I will go find it. Do you guys remember this? I swear that they cut to
I will
Blake's
go find
feet
my
a couple
feet.
times.
Oh wow, that's a little suspicious. You're searching through the episode looking for Blake's feet.
I mean, I may have missed it
no.
because we have like a fuck ton, like we have like 4 billion screenshots.
Oh, I'm familiar.
But like,
That's just the wag. That's her like wagging tail.
yeah, let me see. Maybe Hunter's right. Maybe I didn't see them, but I
think
thought
you're
they
just
did.
angry. You've let yourself fall to
That
anger.
sounds so sus. No. Okay, well, the Weiss feet here for no
Well,
reason.
that's just
That
like
was a
her
little
movement,
random.
her moving backwards. I feel like
Right.
that still communicates it. Because otherwise, it's just a shot of her shuffling, I suppose. So I don't think there's anything wrong with like
I don't think that's the case. I'll go look for it later and let you
looking
guys
at
know
like
if I
Weiss
find
with her
it.
Louboutins. I guess.
I don't know. But
Not
yeah, I
like that.
think, though, like, it's fine to show a character shuffling backwards. I thought that there was another one of Blake's, but it may have just been this one that Blake's were also in it. But I don't mind Blake's feet getting focused. You guys are so weird. You gotta stop. But yeah, I mean,
You're the one obsessing over Blake's
I
feet.
just think that,
You know,
like,
sometimes when you have complex feelings about people,
just think that
you turn it into anger when really
constants of it-
you're not angry at Blake's feet. You love Blake's
my
feet.
god! I just think that like they're trying to use it to get out of doing the fight scene.
I don't
That's
know.
what I thought.
I don't know if I necessarily. I don't know.
Like the one that you're talking about made sense, but like the one before that, they didn't need to do that.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? They could have shown her getting hit and like flying backwards.
That's true.
Right? But they
But
didn't
like
want
the
to show her
shuffle
getting
backwards, I don't know. That
hit. Or
still
like,
communicated
you know,
something.
fall backwards or whatever.
If they were just like a panning shot of them talking and their feet didn't do anything, then like
Right. But I'm saying like you could communicate that with a sword hit too. I want to see swords hitting each other, guys. You know, I don't know. I just feel like that there wasn't enough fight scene in this Blake versus Weiss
part of me
fight
wants
scene.
to put a
There was feet.
pro/anti-feet poll, but I feel
No.
like YouTube would get angry at us for that.
I'm very anti-feet. I wish that people didn't have them, you know? Like,
Do you prefer hooves?
yeah, or something, I don't know. I'm just saying.
Furry?
No furry. I'm just saying, like, if I had the
There's too
choice
much B-Stars merch
to
in
be
the
like a
background.
mermaid or something, like, I'm just saying, like, you
Mermaid,
know.
your hair. I feel like mermaid, your hair would just get so.
Oh, wait, no, they
like,
did keep fighting. I was wrong. Okay, there may have been more feet after this. But yeah,
You're gonna scream if there's, but like, yeah, this is a nice shot. Like, even if it's 3D and it looks a little out of place, like,
yeah.
it's at it. I feel like they at least keep the 3D at a distance.
Yeah. And I like them pointing the swords at each other. Like, I feel like that this shot is really cool. Like,
Although
I
they
like
look a
some
little
of this.
stiff here.
Oh
'cause
yeah,
they're
like
not,
they look stiff.
They're not like, they don't look like they've just been fighting. They look like they're like T-pose, like they're just perfectly
Yeah.
posed.
Yeah, it is kind of weird.
But that shot is nice.
There's a lot of like, I think, yeah, there's a lot of like static sometimes. But yeah, hold on, let me show you guys this one. I think it's
No
around
more
here
foot.
where it happens. I think this was weird.
This-
She just
yeah.
pops up like
Because
a
she
daisy
doesn't,
and
because she
stands
doesn't
on
look
the
like she's
middle.
exerting, and maybe that's because they're both nightmares that they're not
Right,
exerting
right.
themselves. in
But
this
I don't know,
way,
that
so
was
I don't
weird
know.
too. But yeah, I do like this conversation. The writing's at least a little better. Like, you know what I mean? I like their banter and stuff. Like, I thought that was good. I like the I'll strip off your mask and like the Weiss face that like they give here. I thought that this was good. Like Blake like challenging. But yeah, we kind of have a weird like, I don't know. This shot would be okay if someone's watching them. right?
That's
like,
fine.
It gives some vibe.
Oh my god, no, it's like a cool way to frame the shot.
I guess, but I'm like, are you guys hiding it? I want to see her hit Weiss with the sword.
What's with you and your anti-feet and your pro-violence?
I don't know. I just feel like that there wasn't enough fight scene. They like hit it between the buildings, her hitting her again. But yeah. Floating torsos are better. Oh boy. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe there wasn't like focused feet time, but yeah,
Blake focused feet time.
I just think that they cut away from the fight scene too much. Like, feet or no feet. Okay, that's my final judgment on the fight scene as like a whole, is that they cut away from the actual fight a lot. And I think the biggest offender is that slow panel of the building, because that makes no sense. Like, we can both agree that that has no purpose, at least.
Oh, yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
Weird.
Like, the slow pan of the building as you hear them fight makes literally
that
no
would
sense.
make sense if you wanted to, like, set, like, where they
scene,
were.
right?
But
yeah.
that was later. After we didn't need that. It was unnecessary.
And so that's why I think that, like, that sort of thing, like, that just bugged me. And then, like, yeah, like, the other shots of the feet aren't that big of a deal, but, like, because of the first building panel, that, like, all of the other shots after that distracted from them fighting.
If there's two things
like
that Cal does not like, it's buildings and feet.
But you know what I mean? Like, if they didn't do the building pan, I wouldn't be mad about the shots that you're talking
This was a cool
about.
fight scene.
No, not this. I'm talking about
I'm just saying, but I feel like
one,
we're ignoring the kind of cool scene of, like, we get to see, like, RWBY, like, use her semblance and snake through all the tangles.
Yeah,
and I still really
she had a nice expression.
And I love that design of the...
wallpaper worthy.
I love the design, and I love how you can tell that that's a big version of the tiny one that Xian had earlier. And this feels like good for, like, wallpapers.
I just feel like...
This shot would be in the AMV.
Sure. But I just feel like that, like, this is kind of like the moment that, like, okay, guys, like, this is what we've been waiting for. They're finally gonna fight Weiss. And then they didn't do, like, the actual fight scene. They just kind of threw some buildings in there and avoided the fight scene.
I feel like we might be getting more of it, though, next episode.
I don't think that's an excuse, though, for this episode. Because,
I guess not.
Every episode, you have to give people a good impression. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
fair.
Hold on.
Only you can, like, stop to stay hydrated in the middle of a diatribe.
Not to get all, like,
all these feet have got me thirsty.
Like, animation's a product. You gotta cater to the audience, blah, 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 right? You know what I mean? Not to be like that. Yeah, I don't like that
I don't think it's a great way to view art, but...
But...
as a consumer...
But I will say, right, like, for not us, because we like RWBY, and we already like RWBY, and no matter how bad RWBY gets, we'll probably still watch it. Like, you know what I mean?
I don't know, man. There's a lot of RWBY. I never played the Grim Eclipse thing on the Switch.
But we did together.
No,
on the Switch.
We showed it. We didn't play it any... I didn't play a lot. Most of the app games I did.
I did, though.
I haven't read a lot of the manga.
Maybe I can only speak for myself, but I'm saying that, like... You know, obviously we're big RWBY fans, so we're gonna stick no matter what. But, like, I feel like that if I didn't know RWBY and I watched this, I would be very frustrated and kind of feeling jebaited at this point. Because, like, this is, like, they've skipped other fights. You know, we've had so many, like, times where it's like, okay, we're confronting Weiss now, and she, like, teleports everyone away. And then, okay, guys, but we're confronting Weiss now, like, for real. You know what I mean? Like, they've done that a couple times already. Where, like, we found Weiss, we found this area, and then they got kicked out. They've done that at least twice. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, and so, like, the thing is that, like, people may have been frustrated on that front already. Like, oh my god, they never actually get to fight Weiss. They just get sent back to the fucking beginning. And I know that's something that Critter talked about, as far as I know, right? And so for new people, I could see this putting them off, because even if you use the excuse, well, they're not fighting Weiss yet, they need to secure the route, like, it'll come later. This is later, bitch. There is no later than right now. Like, now is the later, and, like, they still didn't do it.
Well, there is a later next episode.
Right, but we only have 2 more episodes left. So,
I mean, if there's no big punch-up, then I'll be like, yeah, that was disappointed.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know.
If this was not RWBY, this would really put me off. Like, maybe I would watch the other 2 just to see how it ended. It's not like this is Promise Neverland level, like, abandoning ship.
No.
But I will say that, like, if I was doing, like, a reaction series, like, if I was doing this for a show, okay, and this happened, I would at least consider dropping the show, like I did with The Promised Neverland Season 2, right? Because it's one thing to watch something every week, because, like, watching stuff, to an extent, is not as big of a time investment as, like, playing a game or, like, watching a movie. Like, 20 minutes of an anime, unless you have, like, a bajillion anime that you're trying to, like, schedule in, right? Like, you always think, like, oh, as a consumer, you have to, like, be worth people's time. Like, there are 30 of you sitting in here watching us for an hour. I need to make sure this is, like, the best hour of your day because you've spent this hour with us instead of watching, like, you know, Arcane or something. Like, you know what I mean? Instead of watching, like, the new, what is it, Lord of the Rings or whatever, right? Like,
Game of Thrones prequel.
We're competing with a lot of things, right, for your time, so you have to make sure that it's worth it. So, just, like, from the perspective of a YouTuber, if this was not RWBY, I would probably be like, you know what? Maybe I'll see it through, but if this was earlier, I would stop. I would be like, what is this? Why are they cutting from the fight scene? And I probably would have quit. So I just think that that's an important perspective to give, because, like, for a lot of people, like, the only thing that this is, like, we're hanging on a thread because it's RWBY, right?
I don't know if that,
anything else, I don't think this would be acceptable.
I don't think that's how I describe my feelings towards it.
I don't know how to explain it, but, like, people give stuff slack because it's RWBY and because RWBY has very humble origins, right?
Yes.
And we're used to janky animation and shadow people.
Well,
and,
in earlier seasons.
Exactly, in earlier seasons, right? Not now, but, like, we're kind of used to that, so there's a certain amount we can tolerate, I think, compared to, like, other anime fans who watch, like, big budget, like, oh, yes, you know, your Demon Slayers and your Attack on Titans and, like, whatever the fuck, right? And so I just think that, like, when you're competing in that space, right, that's something to keep in mind, that, like, to a new anime viewer, this is definitely a downgrade, even though for us as RWBY fans, in a lot of ways, it's an upgrade. But I think RWBY proper, even Volume 5 had better fights
I enjoy
than this,
RWBY more than this show. Like, RWBY standard.
Yeah, for sure.
So I wouldn't go so far as to say that, like,
but I mean for new people.
Better. I don't know how a new person would feel about that. That's just not, like, that's just not something I'm able to tap into.
Oh, you mean that this, I just meant, like, animation-wise, like, this was polished from the beginning compared to RWBY. But fight scene-wise, it's lacking compared to RWBY. And it's a big studio, right?
That's fair.
So I feel like that, like, even though us as RWBY fans may be like, but, like, you know, the animation's so much better than things were in the beginning, like, even though if the fight scenes aren't there, we can cut it some slack. Other people won't cut them slack. I also feel like
RWBY Volume 1 felt more action-packed because it was, like, 90 minutes long.
Sure.
Compared to this, which is much longer, so inevitably there's going to be more, like, area, like, space.
That is true.
And, like, with RWBY, when they do fight, they kind of make it, like, a big deal.
Yeah.
Whereas here, people are just kind of whacking. And
I guess, though, it's not the quantity of fights. It's like, this is the fight we've been waiting for, you know? Right. And it did not, like, hit that well, in my opinion.
I still think this is just, like, the opening salvo. This is just the introduction of the players that, like, Yeg and Jean, like, Jean sees the big sword, Yeg is there to fight, to save Blake after Blake defeats Weiss, and then RWBY's gonna fight. This is just setting the pieces, I think, within the next 2 episodes. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I understand, because it wasn't, like, the big blowout you wanted to.
Yeah.
But right now, I think they're just arranging everything.
I enjoy your optimistic attitude.
It is optimistic, and, like, if it doesn't land, then it doesn't land. But right now, I wouldn't judge it too harshly, because I don't think they're there yet.
I mean, that's fair. But I will say, though, like, with that argument, a lot of people felt like the last couple episodes were setting stuff up. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Like, people said, oh, but they're just setting stuff up, guys. They just gotta secure the route. Like, every time something repeated, people would say, but no, next time they'll actually do it.
Well, that's my thing, where I didn't felt that, because I felt like each time it was different enough.
But I'm saying,
and the show was less interesting, not for its action, not that it didn't have decent action, it has had decent action, I think, but also for how, like, fucky and weird it is.
Yeah.
And, like, how it reveals Weiss as a character. So, like, yes, I think people were like, oh, next time it's going to be the one, where I didn't view it like that. I viewed it more as just, like, it's different. It's a little different each time, and we, we slowly, like, uncurl the layers off of the onion that is Weiss.
Even though that's
fucky things get to happen.
Right.
Other people may feel differently.
That's what I'm sort of saying. Like, even though Hunter's like, oh, they're setting up for the first time.
I just have a different perspective on
setup was before,
yes.
I guess. And so I think that that's sort of the thing. is that, like, people thought that they already got through the setup, you know? And so now, like, but guys, they're setting it up again. Like, that may, like, turn some people off, I think. Yeah, like, we can't keep setting stuff up. It's time to go. Like, you know? And so, yeah. Like, I know what you're saying, Hunter. Yeah. And I think that you're right, because that's how, like, you looked at it. But I guess I'm trying to think of, like...
Another person may feel different.
Yeah, or, like, new viewers and, like, stuff like that. Like, I know Critter was like, guys, we just keep doing the same stuff over and over again. And now I know I don't know what she has to say, because I don't think her video's out yet. But, like, I know she really didn't like this episode. So I think that, like, that's just sort of what I'm keeping in mind.
I think you played a video for me, and I think she said she didn't want to keep watching it.
Yeah, but I think she did, you know, because I think somebody told her to hold on, but I'm not going to tell her to hold on. If you want to leave, bestie, like, yeah.
Listen, man, I don't hurt myself with shows I don't like anymore. There's a reason why...
I mean, honestly, though, there's 2 more episodes.
There's a reason why I left, like, Fairy Tail and Sword Art Online in my teenage years.
It's hard, though, because, like, on one hand... Like, yeah, just drop it. But on the other hand, isn't there some, like, primal part of you that just wants to see how it ends? Like, you know what I mean? That just wants to, because there's only 2 episodes left. Like, I felt that way with The Promised Neverland a little bit until, like, I think the very last episode had spoilers for the manga. Like, legit ending spoilers, so I couldn't watch it. I don't want, my ADHD is not as severe as yours, so I'm okay with, like, enjoying the journey. And not wanting to rush to the destination. Oh, but I don't mean rush. I mean, like, that you drop something, but it's so close to the end. Why don't you just finish it? Like, that's sort of what I mean.
I guess with
struggle with that part.
It hasn't for me, and other people might feel differently, and that's them, and I don't hold that against them.
Sunk cost, yeah.
It might be a sunk cost fallacy, but, like, I also feel like I'm able to, like, say no to enough RWBY stuff that it's not totally sunk cost fallacy with me.
Yeah.
With me, I think different people have different layers of patience. Like, I'm trying to think of a show that I just didn't get into. I don't know. There's stuff that I don't get into because I'm like, this just isn't for me.
Like, don't you have that urge to just be like, you know?
This was interesting enough along the way that I never felt like I was just waiting for something to happen.
I guess I just meant, like, in reference to, like, Critter, just drop the show, bestie. You don't need to see it through. It's okay. Like, if people were encouraging her to continue,
that's like a diff. Like, because if she feels that way, if anyone doesn't want to watch a show, I'm honestly like, I never understand why people. Like, I understand hate watching a thing to an extent, but, like, there's an extent in which, like, I just am not
But I'm saying
interested.
The audience keeps you going. Like, the audience wants you to see it.
Well, then it's just, like, then you're just in an abusive relationship with your audience, where they're getting you to do things you don't want to.
But the resolution of my sentence was, isn't that sort of, like, the struggle, is that you've already come so far, you've already made 10 out of 12 videos. Like,
well, that's an experience that literally only you and Critter, like, have.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how she feels about it. I'm just saying from my perspective.
Because, like, most people don't
There's a primal urge inside my heart to just finish it. Most
people don't have the primal urge to monetize all of the shows they like. So they don't have that issue.
But you guys in the chat, I just mean, like, in terms of you guys watching.
I understand that.
You know what I mean? Like, even if you guys don't make content, I mean in terms of you guys watching it, isn't there anybody in the chat who understands what I mean, though?
No, that's sunk cost fallacy.
Even though you don't like where things are going, you're just
you already
so close.
Put enough, that's sunk cost fallacy. You already sunk so much time.
I know. So that's what I'm thinking about.
But the thing is that I drop shows.
Yeah.
Like, I've dropped a lot of animes.
I don't really drop shows.
I've dropped books. Like, if something really doesn't interest me, typically I, like, leave it alone.
Yeah. I mean, this could be its whole discussion, so we won't go on too much longer, but, like, I think that's a difference between us.
But no, I've felt that way about shows before, where I'm just like, I have to leave it, and then other times I'm like, this was hard, but I still think there's something there, so I'm gonna power through it.
Right. I don't drop things. Like, sometimes I forget about things, like, you know what I mean? Like, I haven't streamed Kirby in a couple months, but, like, I don't drop things, especially if we're already, like, there's 2 episodes left, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, okay, well, even though this episode was kind of disappointing, there's only 2 more. We may as well just have, like, the 12 out of 12 set, right? Yeah. But I never drop stuff. At least, like, sometimes I'll reject it on first viewing, but if I'm already into something, I usually don't drop anything. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. The only reason I stuck with Promised Neverland, because I was like, even if this is a trash fire, I want to see see it to the end. The only reason why I stopped was because people told me there were, like, legitimate ending that would,
I
like,
was still
ruin
going
your
because I almost was
right?
curious to see how much of a trash fire it was.
Like, if you wanted to read the manga, it would, like, ruin it for you. That's the only reason why I stopped. But, like, I don't know. So, yeah, I don't know if anybody's in that boat
I've read,
this week,
like,
but...
all but, like, the last littlest bit of the Akira manga, and I just dropped it, like, out of nowhere. So I've done that before, where I've gotten all the way to the end and then just let it go.
Yeah, and so I don't know, why did we start talking about this?
I never watched the last season of plenty of shows, and never watched the last season of, like, The House of Cards and Orange is the New Black.
Yeah. I guess, okay, so we were talking about this because I was like, Critter, I give you permission, you can drop it if you want, you don't need to see it through, but that's how we started the conversation. She doesn't need my permission, we're just joking, right? But, yeah, I don't know, I'm kind of, like, curious. We're here for a good time, not a long time. We only have 2 more of these. So really, I mean, at least we're gonna see what happens. I know, though, it's kind of funny, and so this is kind of what I mean, too, when I said earlier, I hope the show doesn't give a bad impression, because, like, aren't you guys wondering where Arnold is? He's, like, totally pieced out. Like, you know what I mean? Of IQ stuff.
Arnold's a Genshin streamer now. He's not like
he
that.
He stopped at, like, episode 5 or 6 or something. Like, he just stopped, and he was like, yeah, nobody cares. And I don't really care that much.
How's those red versus blue reactions you two were planning?
Yeah, I know. And so that's what I mean. Like, I don't know. Like, it's sort of...
But yeah.
It's kind of sad, like, how many people are apathetic towards it, and I just hope that doesn't make RWBY projects in the future, like, suffer. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of YouTubers who got kind of bored of covering it. You know, like, I mean, I guess that's really the extent of it. Well, there's been discourse, and, like, people...
I also think there's, like, plenty of good shows that people just don't talk about online very much.
I mean, sure, but I just mean, like, community-wise, I've seen people, like, let's pretend IQ never existed. Like, you know, like, I've seen a lot of, like, stuff in the fandom I didn't expect. Like, when I first saw IQ, I was like, oh my god, guys, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be like normal times. We're all gonna get together every week and talk about the episode. It's gonna be great. And then it was I mean, this is great. You know, we're great. You guys are great. All 35 of you are great.
But it's not like
it's not like how it was, right? Like, you know.
Because it's a spin-off. And you know what? It's an expanded universe spin-off, and that's not for everyone.
And I'm just worried.
Not everyone that watched the Star Wars movie will watch, like, Bobo Frick's, like, series of spin-off Star Wars novels.
But do you guys know what I mean when I say that? Like, I'm worried. I'm just worried because I don't know if they expected it to do better or worse, or they had no expectation at all. Like, you know what I mean? I find that hard to believe. They must have expected something, right? But, like, I don't know. I'm just kind of worried. Yeah, and I think that's true, too. And not just that it deviated, but they're working in a time frame that, like, a lot of people don't like Weiss during this time frame because she's such a bitch, right? You know, people have gotten attached to the characters that they have now. They can't really, like, mentally reset back to the characters we had before, in a sense.
Like RWBY, like, pre-Crow, pre-Salem, pre all the new
and,
antagonists.
like, you know, slice of life in that way is fine, in a sense. Like, you know what I mean? Going back to the beginning...
I still want them to make, like, some kind of slice of life, college AU, like, rom-com,
like,
RWBY spinoff. I'd be so down for that.
I feel like that if this was, like, slice of life, Beacon, people would have, I think, gravitated more toward it because... I don't know why, but I feel like they would have. I don't have a reason. But I just feel like that the reason here...
Because fan fiction tells me so.
...is because people are like, well, I like the Weiss that we have now. I don't like this Weiss. And we're spending a lot of time with this Weiss. Whereas, like, if they did Slice of Life, right, this part probably would have already been resolved. It probably would have been after. Like, during that, like, Volume 1 and Volume 2, like, 2-week time skip thing, like, you know what I mean? Like, that area where, like, okay, well, the Weiss thing's resolved, so even though Weiss is still a tsundere, she's not a total bitch. Like, you know what I mean? And so I feel like that's sort of why it's not just because it's a spin-off, but it's because they are exploring characters in their unappealing state, which is kind of the point, but definitely not for everyone, especially if people prefer Weiss or Jean, right? Jean's in his most unappealing state. Volume 1 was not hitting for Jean, right?
Well, it was hitting for some demographics.
Not
for
Jean.
Us. Jean, a lot of people liked Volume 1 Jean.
No, people did not like the Jean arc, though.
Oh, but then, like, there are a lot, like, there's a group of people who definitely did.
I don't believe that. I need science. Did anybody like Sean in Volume 1? I thought that was the biggest problem.
I always just felt like there was a bunch of people that seemed upset. Like, they just loved him so much that they seemed upset. That there wasn't more of them.
I think RWBY Chibi's like that, but the problem with Chibi is that, like...
It's, like, small
it
and
inherently
cutesy, and it needs
seems
to be funny.
more kiddish.
And, like, it could be
slice-of-life
funny,
anime,
but it could also
know?
be, like, a little bit of drama. It could be a dramedy.
I don't know. I just wish... You know that first...
90210, but with RWBY characters.
This is a bad example, but, like... You know how in Beastars they have those first couple episodes where they're putting on the play?
Yes.
And, like, there's not really a reason. And to be honest, I don't know if it needed to be there in hindsight, but, like, I kind of like that shit. You know, it was kind of fun.
For all.
And there was drama, even though it was just high school, like, oh, you got the lead and I did, and, like, you know, drama between the cast and whatever. Like, I don't know. I just like that sort of thing. So I think that, like, the problem with RWBY Chibi is that it skits and no conflict. Right? It's not like Weiss running for student council president against Coco and, like, something happening or, like, I don't know, something like that, right? And so I think that RWBY Chibi's good. Like, I'm not, you know, shitting on RWBY Chibi or anything, but I will say that I don't think that's necessarily what people are looking for either. They're looking for, like, some sort of conflict that takes place that is not necessarily, like, Grimm-related all the time, right? I mean, the main show's not always Grimm-related either, but I guess I don't mean... like, world-ending conflict. They just want high school, like,
and I don't think
conflict.
we're ever gonna get that.
No.
I don't think we're ever gonna get, like, a real-world AU.
No, not like, real-world.
Official.
I mean, like, in between the timeline.
like, okay.
No?
In between the timeline, so...
like, Volume 1 and 2?
Okay, so just more stuff in there?
In school, yeah.
Okay, I mean, I guess they could do that.
Couldn't they do that? Or, like, even Volume 2 and 3, isn't there a time skip?
But then that's like the RWBY comic, and that's all this other RWBY stuff.
I don't care. Nobody knows about the comic. Who cares? We'll do it.
I like the DC comic.
I know. Oh, no. I thought you meant the mangas.
Oh.
Some people don't like the comic. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, they can do Volume 2 to 3 summer vacation things. I don't know. Like, I just feel like that, like, will we ever get that? No, but, like, we could.
Or, like, you could make it even more, like,
Why
AU.
RWBY Academia?
I'd be down for it to be even more AU, but I just don't know if
I don't think they do AU, but I think there are places in the timeline. For sure. But, yeah, we've kind of gotten off tangent. So, I think that we're gonna go. Yes. Yeah, I mean, like the mangas, right? But I'm just like, who cares about the mangas? Make the anime. Like, you know what I mean? Make the anime anyway. Has anybody... Oh, this is a good question. Has anybody been reading the manga that is releasing in tandem with this?
There's a Ice Queendom manga?
Yeah, there's, like, in Shonen Jump every week. There's, like, chapters that are releasing per episode.
I know that there was a RWBY... There was already a RWBY Shonen Jump thing.
Right, but I'm saying there's something for this. Has anybody read it? Does anybody know? It's probably not translated into English, though.
Probably not yet, no.
Yeah, so maybe that's why we don't know anything about it. But I'm like, how's that going? Anyone?
Who knows at this point?
There was the RWBY Cafe in Japan, though, so, I mean, clearly, I don't know, they're doing well for brand integration. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're doing RWBY Cafe stuff. There has been? No, not the first volume. For this.
For Ice Queendom.
Yeah, for Ice Queendom. I swear to God, they said that, like, every week there's a chapter of this in Shonen Jump or something. Somewhere. Is this a lie? Hold on.
Are you just, creating this?
This is definitely true.
Out of whole cloth?
RWBY Ice
manga. Did you just have some elaborate nightmare about this and...
Okay, hold on.
That looks like...
RWBY Ice Queendom manga. Chapters 1. Uh-oh. So they haven't released anything since June 27th? That's not good.
Maybe it was just one.
The manga started serialization on July 27th. Oh, no, wait. They have chapter 1, 2, and 3. Okay. The first volume of the manga will be released September 9th. That's what this... I don't know where this source came from. But yeah, chapter 1, 68 pages, released digital, public digital, Japan release. Chapter 2, 68 pages, July 27th, August 7th, public, digitally, Japan release.
Well, I have not heard that, so they've not done a good job of, like... advertising.
Am I crazy? Hold on, let me show you guys. You know, I'm not responsible for any advertisements you may see on this page, but, like, this is from the wiki. Do we not remember this? I swear they talked about this at RTX, bro. Well, nobody knows about it.
None of us went to RTX.
Yeah, I know. I guess they didn't. I guess we didn't. But, like, they said it. They definitely talked about it. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with the manga, or like, I thought it was supposed to be releasing in tandem, and I guess it kind of is, but it also seems kind of late, so like, hope they're okay. Guess we'll see it later. But yeah, I guess nobody's talking about it because nobody can read it. You know what I mean? It hasn't released in English yet, so that kind of makes sense. But yeah, the manga is out there, but there's probably fan translations. I don't know about that. We'll look into that another time. But yeah, I'm not crazy. There's a manga for this show. I'm telling you guys. Look it up, I swear.
I'm not crazy.
There's a fan art of it too. Anyway, so yeah, on that note, people did not remember Damn. Yeah, it just occurred to me. I'm like, how's that manga going, guys? I guess it's not. Okay, bye. But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed the stream. Sorry for like the chaos at the end. I hope that you guys had fun. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Remember that our full reaction will be up on Patreon. It's not up right now, but it will be up like later. I don't know, maybe tomorrow, probably.
Whenever you can remember.
Whenever I can. Please remind me. If you're a patron, remind me tomorrow. Just because I don't think it's gonna be tonight, but it'll probably be tomorrow. I believe you. Thank you, chat. I might stream Cult of the Lamb later. So if anybody wants to come back in like, I don't know, like an hour-ish or like around like 6 o'clock, Cult of the Lamb may happen. I was naming people after the chat and the patrons and stuff like that. It was a fun time. We streamed it last night. It's not like a story game, so you don't need to like know the story or like worry about that. You can just come hang out later if you want. It's a fun time. We're gonna be streaming more like stuff that's not RWBY, and we would appreciate you guys' attendance because it's very fun. If that's in a time zone that works for everyone. But otherwise, I think that's it from us, guys. We will see you guys next week. Hopefully, if we don't give up. We're not gonna give up. We're gonna be fine. Oh my god. Oh boy. Okay, guys. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.